What's up, everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin market update. In these videos, you will learn how to use technical analysis to forecast price movements in your favorite cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and others, and also see where we are looking to buy and sell these crypto assets ourselves. So let's get into it here with Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. We can see that we've had this extended drawdown here and then subsequently had this bounce off of the blue support level here that we've been talking about for several weeks now. We almost wicked through this level but did not quite get through it, and so a long from the body of the candle up to the current price that we're at, that we got to this week, will be about a 15% trade, which is a nice positive outcome there for this support level. So the bulls have held up this level with a couple weeks of above average bull volume. Last week we had increasing bull volume off of the doji candle here, where we saw a nice rise in price, and a bullish candlestick right here with a long lower wick. Now this week we haven't had much follow through from the bulls after this bullish candlestick from last week. We'll see what we end up getting, but the main resistance level here is this R2 weekly pivot up here at 46,300. Now, it's important to keep in mind that, the way that you can kind of read this when you have a pretty significant down move like this is you're expecting the move up to set a lower high in comparison to this high way up here. So the reason is because, the magnitude of this move from the top to the bottom was, about a 50% decrease. So for us to go from the bottom up to the top again, it would be, about 105% increase. And so it's very unlikely that we'll just set a bottom and then just rise all the way up for a higher high. It's more likely that we'll set a bottom, come up, set a lower high somewhere, come down again, and then this is where the bulls are going to have to show up. So if we come up again, it's going to be come up and then come down. And now when we come down, this is where we need to set our higher low in comparison to this one right here, somewhere, above this low. Then if the bulls want to change the trend, they're going to have to go up and form a higher high above the previous lower high that we set there. So that's what we're looking for in the weekly time frame. Let's go down to the daily, and we can see that there is an interesting development here with the trend. So if we look at this from the trend perspective, right here we had a confirmed bear trend. So we had a high, low, lower high right here, and then lower low right here. Now once we got two candle closes below this key low, we confirmed that bear trend, and then subsequently as soon as we did that, boom, we came up and we closed right above this key high and this white candle, the last candlestick where people were buying before this downturn here. So that made this white candle a support zone. We talked about this trade on the channel. You can see that we tested this level, got an entry here, and then had a nice subsequent, it was about 15% on spot, so about a 30% on 2x leverage. So very good trade there. It only took a few days to play out after the entry became valid from June 10th. And subsequently, you can see now we went up, and now we're coming down with some above average bear volume here, increasing bear volume, which is not good news for the bulls, but you can see the bulls are trying to pull up here at the end of the day right off of this fresh support level that we just printed, which is this from the bull trend. So once we had this bear trend, we went back and changed this trend back to the bulls' favor with a low, high, higher, low, higher, high. So now we're looking to form a higher low somewhere above this one right here, down here at 34,592 on this exchange. And we're going to potentially try and form a higher low and then go up and form a higher high. So this is our support zone right here. This is the zone that the bulls really need to hold. If we go right through this zone and close two candlesticks below this zone, this will end up being a strong resistance zone for price. Right now, this is our main support zone that we're looking at potentially seeing a bounce off of. So one of the ways that you can play this is you can say, all right, I'm going to go long on this support zone. I think this level is going to hold in the first test. I'm going to go long on the top of that level with my stop loss at the bottom of that support zone, because if we go below that, obviously the zone is not holding a support, and therefore I do not want to be in the trade anymore. So then you could say, where's your target? Well, the target could either be this daily pivot up here, or it could be the daily resistance level up here, which is up at about 47,000. So if it's up at 47,000, it's about a risk reward of about 3.3, so pretty good risk reward ratio there. If today's daily candle can close in 56 minutes above the daily open, which is at about 38,340, which we're not too far away, we're about 300 points away from that now. And you can see the last minute bulls here are trying to push the price up as we speak. That would be very good for the bulls because it'll change the volume from 2 increasing bear days to a bullish candlestick, a bullish volume stick here, which is going to be very good for a potential rise in price thereafter. Let's go down to the lower time frames and start to see what we're dealing with here. If we look at this from a 12-hour perspective, you can see that we came up, we formed our high here, low, higher high, and then we just went down for a lower low here. But the lower low is not necessarily a trend change because we didn't get a bear pattern, which is the high, low, lower low pattern. So if we talk about the other trade that we mentioned on this channel real quick, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So this was the trade that we talked about yesterday. This was the main resistance level here. The resistance level here did not hold as resistance right here. We pushed right through it and closed above it. So on a retest of it right here, this should act as support. We did get a small bounce right here before we pushed through it and got stopped out of the trade. And then subsequently we went above it again and now back below it. Now the bulls are really trying to make a bounce off of this light blue zone here. You can see the reaction we're already getting. The bulls are going to need to push this price back inside of this zone, hopefully within the next 54 minutes. We'll see. That's a pretty significant rise in price. We'll see what we get. But if they did that, this would not end up being a resistance zone. But if they don't, it will end up being a resistance zone for price. But nevertheless, if we look at the Ichimoku cloud, we're in the most bullish scenario that we can be in here with the price action, with the cloud being green, the Tenkin being above the Kijun, and now, while we're not in the most bullish scenario in the sense of prices above all of this, but we're in a very bullish scenario here for this indicator. So with price being back below the Tenkin, the blue line, we're slightly more bearish, but we're still in good position overall with the cloud being green and both the Tenkin and the Kijun being outside and above the cloud. If we look at this from a RSI perspective, let's just see. Okay, no, there's no hidden divergences there. So let's see what we get here on the 4-hour time frame. The bulls are going to need to change this trend back into the bull favor here with this just mess that we've seen that's pushed the price down to where we currently are. We need to see something like this where we come up, form a lower high, come down, form a higher low, and then come up and form a higher high. So we'll see what we end up getting, but really what I'm concerned with is the daily candle for today. I want to see the daily candle close with a bullish volume candle right here with a green volume candle. So we'll see what we end up getting here on the daily close, but we're already in good position if we're a bull because of the fact that we got this trend change and now we're getting a retest of this previous kind of daily resistance zone right here. And so we'll see what we end up getting with the developments. Resistance overhead is the daily pivot level up here at about 42K and the 47K level that we've talked about in the past several videos here. And that is all. So that's all I got for this one, guys. If you like this video, give it a like down below and subscribe for future educational content around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And check out our beginner tactical analysis course that we released on Leutheria.com. And this is where you can learn all the fundamental elements that you need to get started generating consistent profits for yourself, trading and investing in these crypto assets like Bitcoin and others. Until tomorrow, onward and upward.